Hi, everyone. This is Mike, along with my brother Joel. We are doing our next episode in our podcast. Today, we are doing the movies of Stephen King. Joel wanted to come up with the idea, which was a good idea, of six movies, five movies, sorry, for what we feel. I don't know what we feel. We just felt like picking the Stephen King thing. So I'm gonna let Joel take away go for the first one.
Yeah, I'll go for the first one. Stephen King needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give you one, but I'm totally confused about one thing. For those people watching this for the first time, we don't rehearse these podcasts.
Never.
I want to know why you chose the five films that you chose. We could have done The Shining, had debate on The Shining, which Stephen King was said to have hated, Stanley Kubrick's version, which I absolutely loved. Could have done the TV version of one of the two TV versions of Salem's Lot. We could have done TV miniseries of The Stand. We could have done Misery and so forth and so on. But the films you chose, with the exception of one, are very questionable to me. So why did you choose those five films?
Because
Just
I knew we'd
curious.
agree on all five films.
Are you sure about that?
1,000%.
All right.
Go for it.
Our first film is
And I owe
1976.
you no explanation. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Gee, thanks. Our first film is 1976's Carrie, which to my mind, based on Stephen King's first sold novel in 1974 when it was published, Carrie is one of the greatest horror films ever made. Now, I'm 62 years old. I'm an old fart. I've seen a lot of horror films. It's my favorite genre. This is one of the first I've seen. And I got to tell you, man, if you haven't seen Carrie, you're in for a treat. Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie were both nominated for Academy Awards, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, respectively, as Carrie White and Carrie's mother. The script was amazing. In terms of the setup and Carrie White being portrayed as an outsider in school, she was menstruating in the shower, and she thought she was a freak, and she was horrified. And her teacher, Betty Buckley, came to comfort her, and so forth and so on. This film, in terms of characterization, is amazing. Piper Laurie is a Bible-thumping mother, and her daughter is tortured. Daughter goes to the prom with somebody she has a crush on. We don't really know she has a crush on him because he's Amy Irving's boyfriend, which is a whole other deal. But this film is directed by Brian De Palma, and the prom scene in this film is one of the greatest. I'm using these superlatives because I can't think of anything else to say. It's one of the greatest sequences in the history of horror cinema, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen a lot of horror films, as I mentioned. I'm just repeating myself. That's because I'm Jewish. But honestly, Brian De Palma gets compared unfavorably to Hitchcock. Why unfavorably? I have no idea. Brian De Palma has a cinematic legacy of his own with Dress to Kill and Carrie, Body Double, The Untouchables, and so forth. Brilliant director, as far as I'm concerned. Carrie balanced wit with horror. One of John Travolta's first appearances in a film. And I thought it was just an absolutely amazing cinematic experience. It is in my top five horror films of all time. This is the only film in this list that we're going to go through that I'm excited about, to be honest. But what say you?
That's why I picked these five. Yeah, I first time I watched Carrie in a long time. I watched it the other day. This is probably the only movie that you and I will agree on. I thought Sissy Spacek was amazing in this movie, and Piper Laurie. This was Network. Network came out the same year as Carrie, so Network. Hey, over here, thank you. So
I was going to grab a piece of Carrie memorabilia I have it in the corner, but it's too
okay,
far.
so Network came out the same year, and All the President's Men came out the same year, and
So did
but
Rocky.
Rocky. Network stole everything this year
By
from
the way, I'll do it again just to throw you off. Okay, I'm
Network.
good now.
Network stole everything from this movie, anyways. But not stole it. Network was fantastic. This movie was great. Sissy Spacek's facial features at the prom, going from shy, sweet, innocent teen to maniacal, murderous person, was crazy great. I did like Piper Laurie as the mom. I thought she was a little over the top at times, but I get the religious Bible thumping woman that she
What about the
was.
crucifixion towards the end of the movie?
No, everything about the
The young
movie.
lady.
I know, I
Yeah.
know, I know. Everything about the movie was great. I thought this is Sissy Spacek's best performance, and she's never topped it since. I know she's won. I think she won an Oscar for Coal Miner's Daughter or something. I don't know, but I just loved her performance. It was top notch, and her eyes told the entire movie, told the story of the entire movie. Every time she got crazed with the telekinesis to telekinetic power that she had. Um, this is another one where the music.
Pino
So,
Donaggio, one of the greatest soundtracks. Go again, the
yeah,
greatest.
just like Halloween, it was one of those where the music let you know something was going to happen, which is great, and it still gave it the extra oomph that it needed. It was great. The prom scene was fantastic. It was like a 40-minute long prom scene, and that was one of the best scenes
It
in the
wasn't
movie. I
quite
heard
40
feels.
minutes, but it was long. But
What?
it wasn't 40 minutes, but it was long and it was consistent.
Almost very. It was very consistent, but I
Started
did.
out
I did
sweet, and
enjoy.
it built the horror, it built the suspense, and Amy Irving looking at the rope, and then the Big's blood in the bucket just went
Yeah,
on
no,
and on and on.
the acting was phenomenal. William Catt played the her boyfriend, lover, whatever. Or
Greatest American hero.
no, yep. All right, we good with Carrie?
No, no, because I have a couple of questions for you. Why do you say Network stole Carrie? You didn't use the word Carrie's thunder, but why do you think Network stole whatever Carrie was
Oh,
deserving?
Network won Best Picture.
No, Rocky won Best Picture.
Oh, Rocky won Best Picture. Network took. Let's see, supporting actress. I think was Beatrice Straight.
So you're saying
Actress.
Beatrice Straight stole Piper Laurie's?
Yeah, actress was. I don't remember. I think Faye Dunaway in Network. So
What do you think of the
I
Carrie remake with Chloe Moretz?
I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. You
It
know,
was,
but this movie, this is the only they only got 2 nominations for this movie, and it got shut out on both sides.
and it
But
was one
it
of the
was
first
Network,
art films to be nominated for an Oscar.
right? It was Network's year. It was Rocky's year. It was All the President's Men year. So I think it was just too many good movies that just overshadowed this movie, which was fine.
I'll just I'll just say this for those who haven't seen it. The ending is different than the novel. I'm not going to get too into it, but what happens at the end of the movie? I saw it in 1976 at a theater, and everybody jumped from their seat and ran to the back. It was a great experience. It
And
was
Joel was one
fun. It
of
was
them.
memorable, and it was a terrific movie that holds up.
And Joel was
May
one
as
of them.
well go
It
on to
does hold
number
up.
two.
It does hold up. All right, let me do next because I don't want to lose time. Creepshow. I forgot George Romero directed this movie.
Mhm.
That totally just blew my mind. I totally forgot about that. Um,
For those
it's
who don't
five.
know, let me just interrupt you for a minute. For those who don't know, George
Please
Romero,
do.
Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, one of my favorites, Day of the Dead, and so forth and so on. Also did Creepshow.
Um, I saw this movie in Kingsborough Community College in Brooklyn. They showed a screener, not a screener. They showed the movie, and I was blown away by it. I still liked it to this day. Saw it again 2 days ago. Enjoyed it. There were 5 different tales from the EC comics, and if people who don't know what EC comics are, look it up. It's
Okay, I have to interrupt you. They were not from EC Comics. So I was going to get into that in a minute.
they were from the EC comics. That's
They
what it says.
absolutely were not from EC Comics. They
Okay,
were homages to EC Comics.
same thing. Fine.
Not the same thing. These are
I
original stories
hated
of the same thing.
All right, let me talk. I hated Stephen King's performance. He played Jordy
As Jordan
Verrill.
Verrill.
Um, I did enjoy that was one of the sequences. I liked the cockroach scene. I enjoyed the Adrian Barbeau one with the wolf in the crate. Um, there were 2 other ones I forgot. Oh, the beginning one with Ed Harris and the crazy mother-in-law. But just overall, this movie was just told like it was well told. It wasn't a movie where, oh, that's the plot. Oh, that's the plot. It wasn't. It was just 5 short stories put into one. Very enjoyable. I'm glad Romero was behind it, and I did enjoy this movie. And even to this day, I think it still holds up because it still delivers some of the scares.
Okay, so here's my opinion. Not that you asked.
Oh, and Ted Danson one I like too with the
I think
and
it's
Leslie.
George Romero's weakest film.
Okay, why?
Well, I'm going to get into it. Knowing a little bit about EC Comics, I'm one of the few people well, I'm not going to say I'm one of the few people, but I'm one of the pain in the ass geeks. How's that? Who has read every single story
That
of
right?
every single EC comic ever published. I sold Tales from the Crypt to TNT, a remake that M. Night Shyamalan was supposed to direct. It was never made. I love EC Comics. I was raised with EC Comics. They were published in the 50s. I was born in the 60s, but I caught up later on. And they are always a passion. So when Creepshow came out, not based on, but as an homage to those old EC Comics, particularly Tales from the Crypt, I was very excited. The thing is, what Bill Gaines and my old buddy Al Feldstein created in the EC horror comics, the stories were so much superior, so far superior to anything in Creepshow, with one possible exception: they're creeping up on you with E.G. Marshall and the Roaches.
That was great.
It was fantastic.
His hair
But
was out to here.
it was fantastic. But that was the only story that I had any passion for.
So you
It was
didn't like
very
the Ted
exciting.
Danson, Leslie Nielsen one, or with the one with the where
No, the Adrian Barbeau deal didn't do it for me. The Ted
oh, that
Danson
was
thing didn't do it
great.
for me. Jody Verrill didn't do it for me. I felt the stories were weak. I didn't think these were Stephen King's best stories because
So
I mean, okay,
you're just comparing everything to the comics, and you're just trying to get past this.
I'm comparing it to the source material that it was inspired
I
by.
get it,
So I have every
but
right to. Now I do love the look of the movie.
huh?
I do love the look of the movie. The look of the movie with the comic panels and all
Yeah,
that was great.
that was fine. That was fine.
I thought it was better than Creepshow 2. I think the Creepshow TV series is better than both films.
So you didn't like this
But
movie as a grand scope. You didn't like this
I didn't
movie,
like it. It's an anthology. I thought it was weak. But again, to
and this is
stress,
why.
once you
And
get the
this is
anthology and every piece that nobody ever really remembers or talks about, Tales from the Crypt by Amicus Films back in the early 1970s. That was a brilliant anthology series movie rather. I'm sorry, based on the comic books.
you're getting off
The
topic.
face and the way they dramatized the stories was great, but this was weak. The stories were trying to be
Good.
EC like, and they were EC
And,
light.
and this goes back to why you asked me the question in the beginning. Why did I choose these five? Because I knew it was safe to do The Shining, and I knew it was safe to do Salem's Lot, but I know
You
certain.
motherfucker. Okay, moving
I
on.
know these five movies, except with the exception of Carrie, we are probably going to agree on. I was 1,000% right. Go ahead. You got
All
your
right,
next one.
what's the next one?
You got it. I did Creepshow. You got it.
The Mist.
The Mist.
I enjoyed The Mist, and The Mist had an amazing ending. As Stephen King once said, if anybody ruins it, he's going to hang them, or something like that. It's not an exact quote. The Mist was a B movie creature feature directed by Frank Darabont, and it was fun. There was a storm, there was a mist, there was a supermarket, there were people trapped in the supermarket, there were different
No,
types of
no, no,
people
no.
trapped in
Yeah,
the
they were
supermarket.
trapped. Yeah. Okay, good.
Different groups of people trapped in the supermarket, Bible thumpers, and so forth and so on. Second time I mentioned Bible thumpers, people are going to think I'm anti-religion, so think what you want.
He's angry
It was the ending that made the movie for me. It was a B movie up until the end that put it in another stratosphere for me, that put it into the stratosphere for me.
because it
It's
wasn't
not
expected.
one of my favorite. What?
It wasn't expected.
No, it's not one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations, and the movie's ending differed from the novella that it was based on.
What was the
But
ending
the
in the
ending, the
book?
last end, huh?
What was the ending in the book?
Something totally different.
What was it?
I
Do you
don't
remember?
recall, but I know that this was totally different.
Interesting.
It was a stupid thing to say. I brought it up, but the reality is I don't recall the exact ending in the book, but I know this wasn't it. This is
No,
a creation of the filmmakers. And it just
and it
took the
worked.
movie,
And it worked.
totally worked. It took the movie from a B creature features film with monsters and all of this to something far beyond, to something that made people think. And I thought it was on that level, I thought it was quite brilliant. What do you think?
I hate the fact that we agreed. I was hoping we wouldn't agree on this
Oh,
one.
son of a bitch.
Damn it.
Son of a bitch.
No, seriously, I was hoping we wouldn't agree on this because I love
Well,
this
you
movie. I
killed
thought
it.
it was great.
You chose the movies because you thought we weren't going to agree on anything.
That was close. We got two more that you won't like. Um,
So you love
yes,
this.
I really like this one. I watched this one, Jesus, like twice in the past couple of days. It's another one that just one of my go-to movies that I can just whenever I'm bored, I'll just pop it on and watch it. Um, yeah, I mean the monster, the major monster that you hardly barely see in the movie until the end, but you see
Mhm.
all the other monsters involved, creatures involved, and the death scenes were great. The
The acting
acting was
was
good.
terrific. Technically, it was great. Specs were fantastic. It was really good.
Everything about this, yeah, everything about this movie just was spot on. It didn't. It was a lot. It's funny because there was a lot of people from The Walking Dead in that movie.
Okay.
Laurie Holden. I forgot the guy in the beginning came out and with the nose was bleeding, and he said the monsters are in the mist. He was in Walking Dead for a bit. There's a few others I think I noticed that were in The
Well,
Walking
Frank
Dead.
Darabont did the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, and he did
Right,
Breaking Bad.
correct. But
And he also did the world's most overrated motion picture of all time, so, The Shawshank Redemption. We'll get into that
okay,
another time.
we're not getting into that. We've already done that.
We haven't
I
already
thought
done
Laurie
that.
Holden, the supposed possible love interest of Thomas Jane in that movie, her reaction shots in this movie were great. If you sit there and study her, because I've always liked her, there's something about her I always liked, and her reaction shots in this movie were great. Like when Marcia Gay Harden was starting to spew her Bible thumping crap, and then Laurie Holden went up and smacked her. But before she did that, it was just her her the way she spoke and the reactions that she had toward Marcia Gay Harden's character was really well done. And I always enjoyed her as an actress. And yeah, she was great.
Cool.
Who's the kid that got killed? The very first one. The kid, what's
No.
his name? Henry. He was an American Pie. I forgot his name. Stifler's friend. The whatever his name is.
Oh, the little kid?
Yeah, the
No.
little redheaded kid with the skinny kid.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, Chris Owen. Chris Owen is his name.
Terminator guy.
Chris Owen.
No, who did he play in American Pie? The Terminator.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah, the Shermanator. No,
Shermanator. Thank you
Shermanator.
very
Yeah,
much.
that was him. He was killed in the beginning. All
By the
right,
way, we should do the American Pie movies. They were great.
no, please go ahead. You're next. You run up. Oh no, that's my turn now. The Running Man. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the Running Man, not Glenn Powell's ridiculous reboot. Paul Michael Glazer from Starsky and Hutch TV show fame was the director,
Play
which I
Starsky.
totally forgot. Set in the futuristic world of Los Angeles in 2017. This movie came out in
It was
1987. That always cracked me
2019.
up.
Wasn't it 2019?
2017, 30 years after the movie came out.
2017. I stand corrected. Okay.
So just set in a futuristic society. He plays a policeman of Q. Policeman doesn't do his job what he was supposed to do, and he gets tried and convicted, and then sent to the sent to jail. Escapes, goes on this TV show. Richard Dawson, by the way, I have to jump off for a minute. For the topic. Richard Dawson in this movie was.
Let me cut you off before you say anything. Let me cut you off. I heard you.
Hi.
If there was a just world, Richard Dawson would have been nominated for some sort of award, not an Oscar, but some sort of award for that performance as a game show host.
Richard Dawson was amazing in that movie. I don't know what happened to him afterwards. Was he ever like tried or something like that? Didn't it say with all
he came back to Family Feud.
No, I know he did Family Feud. He's kissing
everybody.
He
came back to Family Feud. They did Family Feud several years later. He was about 30, 40 pounds heavier. And the show was canceled.
Something happened to him before he died. Wasn't there something slandering? Slandering?
You know what? I don't even want to. I don't know. I was going to say I don't want to get into it. I have.
Anyways, he was great.
I have no idea.
He was fantastic. His mannerisms, his acting. He looked like a natural on screen. I know we did Hogan's Heroes in the '60s, but he looked like a natural on screen. He carried this entire movie. Schwarzenegger. I think he was just branching out into his action movies. He did Predator right after this, I think, and Commando a year or two prior, the Terminator a couple years prior. But he was just, I think, finding his niche as an action hero in this movie. He was okay. He whatever. But this was Richard Dawson's movie. Now, if you've seen the Glenn Powell movie, I thought the movie was great, and I thought it still held up.
Okay, why does it hold up?
Because nothing about this movie bores me. It was original. It was all the villains in this movie. Jim Brown was in this movie as a villain. That cracked me up because I forgot he was in it. Toru Tanaka, the wrestler, he was in it as a villain. It was very original, and the originality.
Toru Tanaka used to team up with Mr. Fuji. Throwing that out there, no meaning whatsoever regarding this podcast, but I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
Thank you, Mental Boy. He was. This movie, it does not let up. It's 30 years later, 40 years. Wait, 40 years later, this movie seemed very original to me. If you watch the remake of The Running Man with Glenn Powell, awful. I don't know what they were doing at that movie, but it was awful. I don't know if you've seen it, but this movie, I just found I always like these futuristic dystopian movies that take place so many years in the future, and I always dig that for some reason. I always find something that I always like. There's something I always liked about it. And this one, I just thought the originality was really good, and Richard Dawson really held this movie together. Without Dawson, this movie tanks, I think.
See, I was hoping you'd give me another answer when I asked you why it holds up.
Original. So.
Totalitarian society. The economy is in the toilet. The media is state controlled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We could draw parallels and so forth and so on to today. We're not a political podcast, emphatically, but Stephen King wears his politics on his sleeve. Go on Blue Sky, go on any of the blah, blah, blah. And it's the second time I did that. I did that in 2 podcasts where I got caught in myself. Regardless, Stephen King wears his politics on his sleeve. Okay, thank you. And just look at his social media. You know where he stands. And it's interesting because 40 years ago, these themes that he's talking about today that a lot of people think are happening today, he wrote in the novella, and then he wrote in it was adapted into the film. In terms of the action sequences and so forth and so on, I liked them. It was like Hunger Games meets something else. I have no idea what. It was more like maybe Tron. It was more like a video game to me than anything
Fine.
else. Well, when Tron came out, Tron was supposed to be this big video game movie and revolutionary and
And
everything
that's what it
else.
was. It was a big video game
Okay,
movie.
The Running Man was not revolutionary in any way. It was a Schwarzenegger action pick, but in its setting, which is somewhat resonant towards today, it's getting reappraised from what I'm understanding, and it was adequate. It was fun. It wasn't great. The acting was cool. Characters were okay. It was adequate, but it has unexpected resonance, and that's what impresses me about it. So I give it a thumbs up. Ripping off
Damn.
Siskel and Ebert.
Surprising me today. Shit.
Yeah, so you're fucking up, boy. You're supposed to be giving me shit that
Do
I
the
disagree
last
with.
one and be quiet. Do the last one.
The last
all
one?
your hair. Oh, sorry. Too late. Sorry.
The Dark Tower is one of the few Stephen King anythings that I haven't read. I know it's a multi-book series and all this, so I'm totally aware. Never read it. This movie bored the living shit out of me.
God.
This
Explain
movie
to me
bored
why.
the living shit out of me.
Why?
It was like an hour and 35 minutes, and it went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, it did.
You liked it?
Absolutely.
This movie was a giant turd.
Okay, so are you.
The
But
acting
okay.
was what it was. Idris Elba was good. The gunslinger thing. Look, let me say this as a disclaimer. I know The Dark Tower has its more than its share of fans. It's a series that's been around for years and years and years. I'm sure the books are absolutely wonderful. From what I understand, they took some of book 1, some of book 3. But in
How many books were
canon, this is a continuation of the book series.
How many
I
books were
couldn't
there?
make head or tail out of it. I was bored shitless. I
Why?
hated it.
Idris Elba was fine. The kid had good.
Idris Elba
had good
was fine.
scenes.
Idris Elba was the only thing worth watching in the entire
Matthew
movie.
McConaughey, who I'm okay with at times, was really good as that evil warlock guy. He didn't bother me. It was great. I enjoyed that stuff. I forgot the director's name. I don't.
It was an hour and 35 minutes of my life that I wasted.
I mean, Jackie Earle Haley was in it. Dennis Haysbert was in it from.
Jackie Earle Haley and Dennis Haysbert were great actors. They weren't great in this.
Yeah, no, I thought I enjoyed McConaughey. I enjoy. I'm not a big McConaughey fan. I don't really. I'm not a big mark of his. I don't really care if he's in a movie. I don't go gaga. But no, I enjoyed the action of this movie. I loved his character. I liked Idris Elba's character as the gunslinger. The little kid, he was the portal, whatever you want to call it. But the action was good. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with this movie. Now, so for people who don't know, I didn't read any Stephen King novels. I've never read a Stephen King novel.
I read almost all of them, but I didn't read the Dark Tower series.
I've gone on our Facebook page, the same title as our podcast, and was asked if I've ever read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I said no. I'm not a big reader. I read online stuff, but Ron Howard was one of the producers of this movie, by the way. I did enjoy this movie. I liked the action sequences. I liked, like I said, McConaughey's character. I like Idris Elba's character, and I just thought the movie flowed very nicely. Give
me one more movie off the top of your head that you think I hated that you loved, or the other way around. We have a little bit of time.
Thinner.
You wrote that as Richard Bachman. Thinner was just a fun Z-grade horror film.
So you liked it.
It was a fun Z-grade horror film that's taken on for what it is. It was okay.
Damn it. Because I liked it. I thought it was very original. Guy can't lose weight. He gets thinner and he dies. I mean, whatever. I don't remember the whole entire movie. I have to rewatch it, which I really wanted to rewatch. I really wanted to do it for this podcast, but you shut me down on that one because you said it was Richard Bachman.
It's Stephen King. It's just Richard Bachman's pseudonym. I mean, it's Stephen King's pseudonym, Richard Bachman.
But you name another movie if we have some time.
Misery.
No, Misery was good, and I enjoyed it. Shining was good, and I enjoyed it. This is why it's tough to do these Stephen King things, because I picked those movies because I thought you'd hate Creepshow. I thought you'd hate The Dark Tower. So I was sort of right on both of them. And then I thought you'd really hate The Running Man just for the concept of what it was. So, and I just forgot the other movie.
Well, there are other movies that have that same concept that I hate?
Yeah, probably are. I just don't remember any other Stephen King movies.
Such as?
I don't remember any at the moment. If you have any off the top of your head, let me know.
I can't think of any because I usually like those kind of movies.
But see, I had a feeling you'd hate The Running Man, and you would hate Dark Tower, and you would hate Creepshow.
But I'm a look. Again, we're not a political podcast, and I'm a politically oriented guy, and I see some relevance in The Running Man.
Yep. I get that. The Mist is the other one I thought you'd hate. I was really hoping that because it's easy to do The Shining. It's easy. I visited that house. That was really cool.
The
Um,
Overlook Hotel,
yeah,
Colorado.
yeah. My family, we were there. Jennifer and myself and the kids. And it's easy to do that because we both knew that we liked it a lot. You loved
All
it. I
right, so
liked it.
let's end it with this. What is your all-time favorite Stephen King film and your all-time film based on a Stephen King novel, and then your
Don't know.
least
I got to
favorite?
think about it. I got to think about it. I don't know. I don't know.
My
I don't have
all-time
one.
favorite is Carrie. I take it that much above The Shining, which is another one of my favorite horror films by Stanley Kubrick. And my least favorite is The Dark Tower. Shocking, shocking.
There's more that you probably do hate. There was Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez. I
Actually, I
think
thought that was better than The Dark Tower.
you got no taste.
I think
Joel's always wrong.
the Jody Verrill sequence in Creepshow is better than The Dark Tower.
That's no Jordy Vero, you lunkhead.
All right, what about Christine?
Christine was good. There's too
Just
many
you
movies
ever
that
read
were
any
too
Stephen King
good.
novels whatsoever?
Huh?
You ever read any Stephen King
What?
books whatsoever? You know you're
Zero,
missing.
my hero.
You don't know what you're missing. Wrap it up. We're running out of time.
You wrap it up.
If you like what you saw, and again, Mike has no taste, but if you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up,
There's your thumb up.
subscribe. 2 fingers or one. I couldn't tell. I'm not wearing my glasses. Thank you. 2 fingers. Awesome. Subscribe and send us your ideas for future podcasts. Beginning in the next podcast, and Mike and I and our producer Neil, our other brother is going to speak about. We're going to talk about it. About taking questions from people who are members, subscribers, or putting questions on our Facebook page. So, Schmikey, what's our Facebook page?
I don't give a shit podcast, but it's sh*t.
Go for
I
it.
don't.
Go on, like, subscribe, as I mentioned, and give us ideas for future shows, and we'll answer your questions in future podcasts. That's all I got. See you all next week. You have anything else to wrap up with?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you
Peace out,
all.
everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye bye.